Pentagon leaders defended the highest ever military budget, citing China and other eventualities that call for preparedness.
And in other news, combative words from the new Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang, telling reporters at his first ever press conference that the US needs to change its distortion.
New insights about China's covert mission high above the US in exclusive reporting from NBC News.
In the name of promoting democracy and human rights, the United States has long attempted to shape other countries and the world other with its own value and political system. The United States applies double standard when it comes to international rules. The United States has abandoned international treaties and organizations in order to prioritize domestic law over international law. Not just that, the United States announced its own withdrawal from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Force Treaty in 2019 in order to pursue unrestricted development of advanced weapons. The United States has also harmed a biological arms control while opposing negotiation on a verification protocol for the Biological Weapons Convention (BWC) and impending international verification of countries' biological weapons activity. As the sole country with a chemical weapons stockpile, the United States has repeatedly postponed the destruction of chemical weapon and has been hesitant to fulfill its obligation. It has become the most significant impediment to achieving a world free of chemical weapons. The post-World War II international financial order was founded on the hegemony of the US dollar. As the only hard currency linked to gold, the US dollar attracted the lion's share of global gold reserve and hijacked the global economy through the use of central banks of various countries enchanted with a monetarism to finance American warfare and the economy. The US military dominance is based on its own global alliance network, which cover all strategic quarters around the world through its 100-plus military bases, delivering 300,000 military combatants capable of fighting 2 regional wars at the same time, and controlling the hubs of pipelines transporting energy, which serve as the blood vessel of modern industry. Essential to understand this military might is astronomical military spending, which total $716 billion in 2018, surpassing the sum of countries ranked second to 15, and it's still rising. In addition, the United States has the most effective incentive mechanism for scientific and technological innovation. The United States established a decisive lead in fundamental science and military science, as evidenced by groundbreaking scientific projects such as the Manhattan Project, Apollo Program, and Human Genome Project. The United States continues to be the undisputed leader in artificial intelligence and other cutting-edge technologies. Its unrivaled higher education system nurtures leading scientists, and its generous scientific funding in an enticing invitation to talent from all over the world. Under the packaging of Hollywood studios and many US-based transnational corporations such as Disney, Universal Studios, McDonald's, and KFC, American culture has been hailed as representing universal values. Driven by the mentality of building a city on a hill, the United States went to any length to displace other forms of political organization. Young generations from all over the world are drawn to the appeals of liberal democracy, laying a solid foundation for the United States' soft power. This dimension of US hegemony permits the backbones of the other 3 pillars, amplifying the dominance of the US. Since becoming the world's most powerful country following the 2 world wars and the Cold War, the United States has acted more boldly to interfere in other countries' internal affairs, pursue, maintain, and abuse hegemony, advance subversions and infiltration, and willfully wage wars that harm the international community. Under the guise of promoting democracy, freedom, and human rights, the United States has developed a hegemonic playbook for staging color revolution, inciting regional disputes, and even directly launching wars. In order to maintain a cold war mentally, the US has escalated bloc politics and full conflict and confrontation. It has pushed the concept of national security too far, abused exposed controls, and imposed unilateral sanctions and others. It has used international law and rules selectively, employing or discarding them as it sees fit, and has sought to impose rules that serve its own interests in the name of upholding a rule-based international order. By presenting relevant facts, the organization seeks to expose the United States' abuse of hegemony in the political, military, economic, financial, technological, and cultural fields, as well as to draw greater international attention to the risk that the United States practice pose to the world, peace and stability, as well as the well-being of peoples.
The rise of Russia and China as global powers has created a complex geopolitical landscape with the potential for conflict and competition with the United States. Some of the key areas where this conflict could arise as the forecast research showing that the global dominance power that is held by the United States will come to end from 2025 to 2030. There are three major factors of how the conflict or issue that has arisen and increased the risk for the United States to not continue its power as global dominance power. First is on military tensions. As Russia and China continue to modernize and expand their military capabilities, the United States may feel threatened and respond with its own military build-up in the region. This could lead to an arms race and a potential military conflict. Second is on economic competition. Russia and China are both economic powerhouses, with China being the world's largest exporter and Russia having vast reserves of natural resources. As they continue to grow and expand their economies, they may challenge United States' economic dominance and potentially disrupt global trade. Lastly, ideological clashes. Russia and China have both pursued their own models of governance, which differ from that of the United States. These differences in ideology and political system could lead to tensions and conflicts, particularly as the United States continues to promote democracy and human rights around the world. To address this potential conflict, the United States may need to engage in diplomacy and seek to build cooperative relationships with Russia and China. This could involve finding areas of common interest and working together issues such as climate change, global health, and nuclear disarmament. At the same time, the United States may need to maintain a strong military presence in the region and invest in new technologies and capabilities to stay ahead of potential threats from Russia and China.
A related theory towards this matter is realism. Realists contend that in order to advance their respective national interests, governments must eventually rely on their own resources or power within an anarchy international system. The survival of the state, including its citizens, political system, and territorial integrity, is of paramount national importance. Realists also have a strong interest in maintaining a country's culture and economics. National interests will continue to be at the core of international politics as long as the globe is composed of nation-states operating in anarchic conditions. The first assumption of realism is human beings are being selfish and interest-maximizing creatures. Because of this, they strive for power and it drives them to attack one another in order to gain power. Not just that, realists contend that state will act in their own best interest, even if it means using force to seize control. For realists, the concept of power is central, and they contend that for a state to survive, it must obtain more power. Because of power is categorized as threatening when it is not in your possession. Realists view power as their enemy. The second assumption is that all international relations are fundamentally and inevitably violent, and that war is the most common means of resolving such conflicts. Since states strive to maximize their interests and strengthen their security system, it claims that war is unavoidable. Realists contend that because there is no centralized authority to regulate state behavior in the international system, it is anarchic. There is no justice in the global system because of human nature and human affairs, which are motivated by selfish interests, power, fear, and immoral motives. The third assumption holds that each state's security and the survival of the nations come first and foremost. Survival is thought to be the most important interest for all states. States are constantly looking for measures to preserve their independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity. States can still pursue other objectives like economic development and human rights protection, but state security will take precedence over all of these concerns. The final assumption toward these matters is also dissimilar from domestic politics because no higher authorities supervise the global system. Because of this, state highlight an international anarchy in which there is no centralized authority on a global scale. Therefore, there is no coercive, hierarchically superior power that can settle conflicts, uphold the law, or regulate the system of international politics.
Domestically, it could lead to a shift in political power and ideology. The United States has long been the world preeminent superpower, and its foreign policy has been shaped by its global dominance. If this dominance were to end, it could lead to a re-evolution of the country's priorities and its role in the world. Internationally, the end of America's global dominance could lead to a shift in the balance of power among nations. Other countries such as China and Russia could become influential, and the United States may have to adjust its foreign policy accordingly. This could lead to increased competition and potentially even conflict between nations vying for power and influence. Shift in global trade. The United States is the world's largest company, and it has historically been a major player in global trade. If the country were to lose its dominant position, it could lead to a shift in global trade patterns, with other countries such as China and India becoming more prominent. This could have a significant impact on the global economy. A trade pattern and relationship will need to be redefined. Next is change in investment pattern. Many investors look to the United States as a safe haven for their money, and this has helped to drive the country's economy. If America's dominance were to end, investors may need to look elsewhere for opportunities, which could lead to a significant shift in investment pattern. The United States has been a dominant cultural force globally for several decades. American movies, music, and fashion have influenced people around the world. This cultural influence has been attributed to the country's entertainment industry, which has produced some of the most popular movie, TV shows, and music. However, in recent years, there has been a shift in global cultural influence. For example, K-pop and music genre from South Korea has gained immense popularity worldwide, with groups such as BTS and Blackpink topping global music charts. A lesson learned in terms of politics is the importance of global alliance. If America's global dominance has won, it may be a reflection of a lack of strong global alliance. The United States has traditionally relied on its military and economic might to exert its influence around the world, but it may be necessary for the country to work more collaboratively with other nations to achieve its goals. Another lesson is the need for a new approach to foreign policy. If American global dominance has declined, it may be time to rethink the country's approach to foreign policy. This could involve a greater emphasis on diplomacy, development, and multilateralism, rather than a focus on military power and unilateralism. A lesson to be learned from change in the global economy and the rise of other economic powers. For example, the growth of China's economy and its increasing presence in global trade and investment has a significant implication for the United States and other countries. The rapid development of technology and digital economies have also had a transformative impact on the global economic landscape. Second is the importance of diversification. The US has been a dominant economic power for decades, and many countries around the world have relied heavily on the US economy. If America's global dominance comes to an end, it will be a reminder of the importance of diversification in the global economy. Countries will need to diversify their economic partnership and rely on multiple sources of trade and investment. A lesson learned in culture is cultural exchange. As America's influence on the global stage wanes, there may be an increased interest in learning about experiencing other culture. Cultural exchange refers to the sharing of cultural practice, ideas, and perspectives between different groups of people. There may be an increased interest in cultural exchange and appreciation as people seek to understand and celebrate the diversity of the world. Secondly is revolution of American cultural hegemony. American culture has had a significant impact on the rest of the world, particularly in the areas of music, film, and television. However, as America's global influence wanes, there may be a revelation of the values and norms that has been promoted by American media and entertainment.
Thank you for the previous presenter TUNKU HARISH for explaining the impacts and lessons learned that we could get from the ending of America as a global dominance. For my part, these are the things that we need to discuss. what are the recommendations and suggestions that we can give if America wants to maintain their position as the global dominance? In the terms of politics, America must stop their ways of gaining something that is valuable for them by threatening other countries. This is because the Americans themselves feel they have veto power against other countries. They threaten other countries by using propaganda, fake news, and so on to show the world as an excuse to attack the targeted country to get their wish. An example we can take is when the country of Iraq was attacked by America during the administration of President George W. Bush, who spread false news that Iraq developed dangerous weapons and could threaten the world peace under the rule of Saddam Hussein. Furthermore, America also often uses threats against North Korea, Russia, and China, which to some extent negatively affects their own countries. So, for me, I think America must not create new enemies and should not act as the world police because it will provide a greater threat to the country. Second, stop sponsoring the other countries that are still in war. As we all know that it has become a habit for America to be the main sponsor of many wars since the World War. Recently, as much as $350 million military aid was given by America to Ukraine during the war between Ukraine and Russia. This action made tensions worse. Moreover, the issues in the West Bank is also an issue that has been going on for decades. We can say America is also the main financial and military supporter and sponsor of the Zionist regime of Israel. A news has reported that the United States once donated $146 billion of taxpayers' money to Israel for bilateral aid and missile defense, even though they were only fighting the unarmed Palestinians. Because of this action, the world support for America is decreasing. In terms of defense, we suggested that America should increase the cost or the budget for their military equipment by modernizing and strengthening the US military. The NSS clarifies when the United States will use force and stresses the need to increase investment in cutting-edge technologies, enhance strategic nuclear deterrence, pursue integrated deterrence, and improve the capabilities and well-being of military personnel. Second is the training and development, especially among the youth. This is a good step in further improving their national defense. The way is to educate them with patriotism in themselves towards the country from a young age. This allows building loyalty in themselves to defend their own country. The negative culture in their country is reduced indirectly. In terms of training, they need a military training like in the country of South Korea, which has set a certain age limit to join the military academy for a few years. This can increase the national defense line where the people themselves can stand up to defend their own country. In the terms of economy, we think that America should more focus on the exchange of the goods and trade with ASEAN countries. As we all know that Asia is the largest regional that contributes in the global economy. Various cultures make it possible to increase their potential on trades in the global market. Moreover, the news reported that most of the ASEAN countries will now trade with China. ASEAN economies are champions of reform of the multilateral trade system, deeply involving themselves in global monetary and financial governance and promoting the development and cooperation in the digital economy. So, we think that America must take a chance to increase their trade to stabilize and strengthen their economy as the current global dominance. Last but not least, in the terms of technology, we think that America should build up more modernization in national security, especially to avoid any cyber threats from the outside world. COVID-19 gives us a bad impact to the world itself. There was a time when we could not communicate with each other directly because of the pandemic. This led us to use the internet more often than before. Not only that, this has also been used in the national security system. However, as the use of the internet becomes more widespread, the issue of cyber attacks begins to increase. Countries like America, which are more forward and advanced in various aspects than other countries, are no exception. Several reports and news list that America as one of the countries that are struggling with this problem. So one of the things that they can do is by implementing the AI, artificial intelligence, in the system. Hackers nowadays are targeting more government websites, networks, databases than private businesses. In fact, government organizations' network infrastructure requires enhanced security since it holds data, information and secrets that might jeopardize national security. Cybercriminals are adopting new technologies and methods to steal data. Artificial intelligence will greatly reduce the security loopholes as it will reflect the issues in advance so that security patches or firewall rules can be put in place immediately without any delay in the implementation.
In conclusion, we agree that America as the global dominant has come to an end. Even America is still a power and a strong country, but other countries will surpass it as the new global leader.